So I think I showed you this already in the fresco. Yeah. All right, so I think I mentioned, the terrain and the trade line, the geography, so mountainous. And just for the end of class on Friday, if we would record it, would it help? But I recorded it. What crops could grow there? What crops could grow on the mountainsides? Yeah, go to grapes. Yeah, grapes. What would they make out of grapes? Wine's a big value-added one. What's the other one? Olives. Yeah, olive oil. Olives for olive oil. Those are the big value-added ones. So, the first Greeks. So the first Greeks, farmers, that Neolithic era, before and after the Ice Age. And about 3000 BC, you start seeing, okay, people were there already, but a big wave of people came in about 3000 BCE. Another tribe came in this direction about 2300. And the point is, there's a series of invasions. They were invaded, there was a shock, and the kind of a rebuilding, and the kind of melding of different cultures. But because it was an island, the Minoans avoided the shock of the second big invasion, and therefore they would be the first area to have any kind of civilization. So you can imagine invasion coming, boom, everything changed. And this is from a Minoan boss. I kind of like that one. I do like the big head, that mustache. It's pretty cool. See the mustache? That's a pretty cool mustache. And this is Mycenaean civilization. We're not there yet, but the Cretians were able to avoid some of the invasions. And so what about Minoan? So we start seeing archaeological evidence about 4000 BCE, and you start seeing more of a flowering of it by 2000, and it's pretty clear that they are very much influenced by other civilizations, very much influenced by the Hittites and the Lydians here, the Phoenicians and the Egyptians, because of trade. The Egyptians. And they would be known for columns, vast building, huge temples, and artwork. The art is pretty spectacular. And they would frescoes, obviously very colorful. And so the men were clean shaven, and so they had iron, they had bronze and then iron. And they probably wore something closest we could say it's a kilt. It's going to be very hot there, but they wore belted. Kilts as we know it had not been invented yet, but something very close to that. Women were known for very elaborate hairdos. And you can see some of the remnants from, this was discovered in Knossos, a great city that was destroyed probably by earthquake. But you can see the elaborate hairdos that women had. And sometimes they would put things in them. They would clearly have almost like models of homes or tables. This was actually really common. French Revolution, right before the French Revolution, the Royal House of Versailles always had these like ships in their hair and things like that. And another style was very pinched waist, so they had to wear corsets. And there's examples of corsets, bone corsets that would cinch up women's waist. The idea would be small waist as possible. So 13, 14-inch waist, which had to be shockingly unhealthy. This would not be unusual throughout history. And a few more things. I put this out for multicultural, but the whole point is they definitely have examples of different peoples, and you'll notice lighter or darker shaded skin, because there are people from all over the Mediterranean world. And that's in Gnosis, where you can see women clearly having a major role in the procession of gods. And women had a much greater role. Most of the gods were female. And that's clearly a legacy of the pre-husbandry of animals, where women were considered holy because that's where children came from. They were fertility. Here's the snake goddess, and I love this statue. Really remarkable that this totally survived this way and holding like the snakes. Snakes. And, for example, they had athletic events, and women would participate, lead the procession out of all the athletes. They were involved with bull leaping. I'll show you bull leaping in just a second. But as I understand, this will be at the next assembly. We are going to do bull leaping. That should be a lot of fun to watch, not to do. So it's not a matriarchy. Women did not lead the society, so it's a patriarchy. But clearly women had a much greater role, especially than Mycenaean or Greek culture on the mainland. Or after the Minoans died, women had a much more subservient role. I do like the snake goddess. What's bull leaping? I'll get to bull leaping. Let's come back. Here's bull leaping. So bull leaping, as I mentioned it, would be one of the most popular sports, kind of a precursor to bullfighting. And here's a picture from Gnosis. And the idea would be a bull would charge, and then you would have to time it where you could jump and propel yourself off its back to kind of flip around and land on your feet. And the idea would be is that you would avoid the horns and go right over the horns and launch yourself. And so you can see jump, the flip, and the land. You can see it right here, or get impaled on the bull's horns. And I like that sport. That is a good one. And so you can see she has taken a big leap and is coming over. This shows them catching it, and that one's not clear. But as I understand it, they're supposed to jump, flip, land. So precursor to bullfighting. And that would be a great sport. And so, last thing for today then. So they have very elaborate palace complexes, above and underground. The roofs cannot be very high, and because they're stone, the size would be, this is 3 stories, but at 3 stories because of the weight is about as much as they can get. When we get to Greek, more advanced Greek architecture and Roman architecture, they can get bigger and bigger, but they still have the problem of the weight pressing down on the walls. And these had to be designed very, very thick walls because of the earthquakes. There's constant earthquakes. And one earthquake finally did knock it down. And frescoes everywhere. I showed you a fresco before. Had an example of that in Ramses' tomb of the plaster, but this is plaster with paint, so it gives it that very vivid look. So here are Minoan frescoes right here. And the biggest of the complexes, Gnosis, 3 acres. And that's where we'll quit. We'll pick this up after the test. So after the test, we'll have the video. All right? Yeah, 9:40. So off the video, what am I saying? For the test, I will give you the stuff in the next unit, so we'll start that. You already have the map will be due on Wednesday. So anytime you have after the test, you can read or work on the map of ancient Egypt. So I'll try to check teams sometime tonight. If you have a question about the test, you can quick ask. And yeah, I probably won't look at it after about 9, probably the latest. But I'll try to answer it if I get a shot. But if you have a question, I think we'll be ready. So looking 30 to 35 matching, 4 short IDs. You need something to write with and paper. You're going.
Type it all in. And we're just going to give the test to everybody. We'll see how they do. Everybody. And if they don't do well on it, I'll let them keep the test after we're done grading it, and they can try again. We might do it for special topics. Yeah, right. You guys are sharp as stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, that's what we don't even need it.
Huh?
That's what we don't even need it.
Yeah, you don't even need it, but you want to show off.
I've not been to Greece.
We should go to Greece. I've been to Jordan, Montana.